When you're scrolling through houses for sale online, what are you actually looking at? Is it just the building? Or is it a whole story? A story about a neighborhood, a city, and maybe even the future of how we all live? Okay, let's dive into this by taking apart one single listing to see all the layers of value that are hiding in plain sight. So our case study for this explainer is this two-story house at 1057 King Street East in Oshawa, Ontario. At first glance, it looks like a pretty normal family home, right? But trust me, there is so much more going on here than meets the eye. First up, the number that always grabs your attention: the price. It's listed for just under $700,000. So the big question is, what does that price tag actually get you? Now check this out. The agent's description calls this an exceptional and rare opportunity. That's some pretty bold language. And yeah, it's easy to just brush that off as marketing hype, but as we're about to find out, there might be some real truth to that claim. Okay, the basic stats are pretty straightforward. It's a detached home, 3 bathrooms, and it's sitting on a really generous lot. But the details that should make you sit up and take notice are right here. 3 plus 2 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, and a separate entrance. These are the first clues that this isn't just a simple single-family home. To really understand what's going on with this property, we need to zoom out. The value of any house is so tied to its location. So let's start peeling back the layers, beginning with the neighborhood itself. This house is in a community called Durham. It's a mature, really well-established part of southeast Oshawa. So who actually lives here? Well, the data makes it pretty clear. It's heavily weighted towards families. 40% of households are families with kids, and another 29% are couples. So you put that together, and you see this is a place where people really come to put down roots. And the buildings themselves, the actual homes, they tell the same story. Nearly 3/4 of all the homes in Donvan are single detached houses, just like the one we're looking at. This gives the whole area that classic, traditional suburban feel. And what do people do for work around here? Well, it's a pretty solid mix of manufacturing, retail, and healthcare. It's a real working community, which provides a stable economic foundation for the people who live there. So here's the takeaway. When you buy this house, you're also buying into all of this: a stable, family-focused community where most people own their homes, with great highway access and lots of parks. The homes are a bit older, which, often means you get these bigger lots. This is the first big piece of the value puzzle. Okay, let's zoom back in on those curious little details from the listing: the 2 kitchens and that separate entrance. The listing mentions income potential, and this is where we find out what that really means, both legally and financially. So what is the actual difference between a house that just has a basement kitchenette versus a property that has true legal income potential? Well, the whole answer is in how the city officially recognizes the property. The official term, according to the city of Oshawa, is a 2-unit house. Now, that's not just some casual phrase, it's a specific legal designation for a home that has been properly and officially converted into 2 separate self-contained living spaces. And this is exactly why that official registration is so important. It is not just about paperwork. It's a guarantee that the unit is safe, that it's up to fire and building codes. It gives the property official recognition, which is absolutely critical for getting financing or for reselling it down the road. It even comes with practical perks, like proper waste collection and making sure emergency services know exactly what they're dealing with if they get a call. This legal status adds a huge, tangible layer of value. Okay, so we've got the physical house, we've got the neighborhood, and we have the legal income unit. But believe it or not, there is one more layer to this story, and it's the biggest one yet. To see it, we have to zoom out one last time and look at the entire city and its plans for the future. The City of Oshawa's planning department isn't just sitting still. Like any growing city, it's constantly reviewing and updating its official plan and its zoning bylaws, which are basically the rule books for what can be built and where it can be built. This little quote from a city report shows that this is an active, ongoing process. The city is literally looking at its own rules and trying to update them to meet new and future needs. And what's one of the biggest needs for any growing city? More housing. A core idea you'll find again and again in Oshawa's planning documents is the need for densification. That is, fitting more homes into the city's existing footprint. And they are specifically looking to do this along major arterial roads. And if you remember, our house is on King Street, which is a major artery. So what does density actually look like? This gives you a really clear idea. The jump from what they call medium density to high density zoning means you go from building townhouses to building low or even medium rise apartment buildings. You could potentially double the number of homes on the exact same piece of land. Okay, so let's pull all of these different threads together and look at the full picture of what this property at 1057 King Street East really is. So what are you really buying? It's not just a house, it's a whole collection of assets. It's the physical building, yes. It's a foothold in a really desirable neighborhood. It's a legal, income-generating rental unit. And maybe most importantly for its future value, it is a large piece of land on a major road in a city that is actively planning to allow more housing on lots just like this one. And that brings us right back to the very beginning. That rare opportunity isn't just about having a big backyard for the kids. It's about owning a large, potentially redevelopable lot in a location that the city has basically earmarked for future growth. That hidden potential is what makes it so rare and so valuable. And so, this one house leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. It's like a tiny snapshot of a much bigger trend. As our cities keep growing and the push for more density gets stronger, what does that actually mean for the future of the traditional single-family neighborhood? That's a story we're all going to be watching unfold.